You said that.
She used to be an actress.
She ever do anything I saw?
I think her biggest deal was she starred in a pilot.
What's a pilot?
Well, you know the shows on TV?
I don't watch TV.
Yes, but you are aware there's an invention called television, and on that invention they show shows.
Yeah.
Well, the way they pick the shows on TV is they make one show, and that show's called a pilot. Then they take that one show and they show it to people who pick the shows, and on the strength of that one show, they decide if they want to make more shows. Some get accepted and become TV programs, and some don't become nothing. She starred in one of the ones that become nothing. Welcome to Couch Pilots. All of you are my friends. It's the show that dares to fly into the unknown territory of awful television. My name is Jason, and with me is my harvester of sorrow. It's Captain Philip Ressisher. Good evening.
Harvester of sorrow.
You know why I called you that?
Because of Metallica and Justice for All.
Yeah, that's exactly right. You know what's up.
Yeah. Well, when I saw the link, I was like, oh, it's like a Metallica like documentary. Like,
remember we were going to make a whole TV series about a documentary for Metallica, but it failed, and we only did one episode. This is that episode.
Whenever during our show have we ever hashtagged Metallica 2 weeks in a row?
Oh, yeah. Last
Show
week we
notes.
talked about Lou Reed and Metallica as Lulu, and I think
You know
they
what?
did one or two albums that way. I never heard it. It doesn't sound like it would
No.
be very good.
Do you want me to like jot something down and maybe see if Metallica will do CouchCon
Next year?
2021?
Put them on the list.
Okay, I got them.
And I will say, welcome.
But they can only play the songs from their 4 albums.
They can only play, anything from there is fine.
Yeah.
And if they say otherwise, they
Yeah.
are not invited.
Yeah, they're uninvited.
To have Ted Cruz maybe on there. See if he can. Because I know he works very closely with Lars Ulrich. Him and Lars are very good friends.
Because they worked together for Napster against Napster.
Correct. So get him on there.
Wow, that would have been a better one than Kiss. Then it was all tied together, right?
They maybe. You know what? You live and you learn. Alanis Morissette said it once and only once, and she said it best.
You
Welcome
laugh, you learn.
Is she great? I think she's great. I like Alanis Morissette.
Yeah, I mean, she hasn't done anything in a long time, really.
I like her because she would go down on you in a theater. And I don't mean me. I just like to know that there are girls out there going down on other guys in theaters.
Well, the guy she's talking about going down on
Hey,
a theater
hey, cut
is the
it
guy
out.
from Full House.
Cut it out,
It's
okay?
the guy from Full House.
That's what he would do, cut it out.
Oh.
And then it was Dave Cooley. I've seen him live in person at the Jukebox Comedy
How
Club.
was that?
He didn't mention Alanis Morissette, I'll tell you that much. You know what's funny, though? This is what happens when you're Dave Coulier, all right? You tour around, and then everyone says, hey, it's Uncle Joey. He wasn't Uncle Joey. He wasn't an uncle at all. He was Joey.
It was just Joey.
Uncle Jesse.
Yes.
Because that was
recently-
Bob Saget's wife who passed away. That was her brother.
Yeah.
And then you have lifelong friend Joseph Gladstone.
Yeah.
He's not related to them. It's not Uncle Joey.
But, I mean, Eli calls you Uncle Jason.
And I say, shut the fuck up, kid. I'm not your uncle. Don't expect anything from me. But like you go, if you're Dave Cooley, you're going around. It's like kind of like Jerry Seinfeld. You know, Jerry Seinfeld goes somewhere, and Jerry gets 5 minutes up front where he can do anything or say anything, and everyone will love him because he's Jerry. But then he's got to like prove himself as a comic. Same thing with Dave Coulier. Everyone's coming to see Joey from Full House, and he does a few shitty things, is stupid, and then but he's good. He is very good. But you know what he did? He did some impressions that completely lost the audience when Dave Coulier was here in Peoria. He did Bob Einstein. You know Bob Einstein? Super Dave Osborne.
Okay.
This is what you got to do. You go out there and you put on a blue pompadour, and then you look them in the face for 5 minutes and you say absolutely nothing.
Super Dave, Bob Einstein, R.I.P. He did this perfect impression. It was great. And no one knew who the fuck he was talking about.
Okay, right.
So he's got a few of these like old references that he does, and he's like, these are good, and they are good, but no one gets them.
But the audience doesn't get it.
I liked it. I thought it was funny.
Right, but he's not playing to the audience who's like, oh, I've watched reruns of Full House and I love Full House.
These are all kids like my age, maybe 5 years younger, just kind of like, oh, it's Joey. I've rediscovered the show. I love it. What the fuck is a Bob Einstein? Get out your woodpecker or wood. He's got a puppet. Do you ever watch Full House?
No.
He had a puppet and he's like, wood? It's like a woodchuck. That's what it was. It was a woodchuck, and he would like say wood and like move around. He did stupid shit. Yeah. Anyway, that's my Dave Coulier story. Thank you.
Now I got to tag Dave Coulier for that.
He'll appreciate it. You know, I heard him on Adam Carolla a couple years ago, and he was doing Celebrity Wind, but it's like celebrity farts.
Okay.
So he was like, name any celebrity, I can do the fart. And like Adam Carolla would name a celebrity, and he would just sit there and do a really crazy. It was ridiculous, but it was funny. Like, what's nothing? Farts are universally funny.
Sure. Dick jokes and fart jokes, right?
Blake, welcome back from the internet.
Thank you. It's good to be back. I've had a couple beers. I've had a few cigarettes. I've made love to my wife in my dreams, and I'm back to normal.
This is the first thing I want to ask you. When you were in the internet, you're like, I have access to everything in the world. I'm focusing on porn because that's all I can find.
Right.
And I said, please think about all the positive things that you could be experiencing and what you can take away from this if we get you out of the internet. And thankfully we did. Mm-hmm. Looking back, what do you miss about being on the internet, and what was the best thing about it?
The best thing about it was I was alone, which is what I prefer to be.
Right.
That was one of the best things. And like I said, I had access to every porn known to man. I didn't have to worry about any spam or viruses. The worst part, I guess,
Right.
was the farts. The farts.
Yeah.
Yeah. But, we're 2 days away from election, and I want to give you a little...
Is it on November 4th?
It's the 2nd, right? Right now, it's the 2nd.
So 2 days away would be November 4th.
Right.
Is it really November 4th
Yeah.
is the election?
Yeah.
Are you going to vote?
Yeah.
I already did.
I did on the internet.
I did. I got a mail-in thing.
Oh, nice. So
Who did you vote for?
I'm going to go ahead and say right now, Happy President's Day to the one and only... Who's running against Donald Trump? Who's running against Donald Trump?
Don Biden.
Biden. Good job, buddy.
He's not going to win. He's not going to win. Donald Trump's going to win again. Who do you think's going to win?
I think it's Donald Trump. I didn't want it to be. I thought I could wish it not to be happening. We've talked about people and they've died after talking about them on the show.
We have no poll there. It's dumb. Listen,
can we do this for another 4 years?
Donald Trump is... You can say what you want about him and his policies and his effectiveness as the commander-in-chief, but when a man like makes fun of Ted Cruz, which we love because he MC at CouchCon, when he makes fun of how ugly his wife is, when he calls fellow Republican John McCain a loser for being caught in Vietnam, when he makes fun of handicapped people, like...
Oh, yeah. And he says I could go into Times Square right now and shoot anybody and not get in trouble for it. He said that.
Like, seriously, fuck Donald Trump. Like, who the fuck's... Like, that is the most unprofessional president you could ever hope to imagine.
No, yeah.
Like, fuck you for, like belittling our country like that. Like that fucking sucks.
Right.
He might have done some good things in his presidency. He honestly might have. I'm not a Republican. I'm not a Democrat. I didn't vote for him. I don't want him in office. But he is what we have, and he does make decisions. So he probably has made some good decisions. But the way that he acts is universally embarrassing.
Yeah, for sure.
He is an embarrassment.
And I for the past month and a half, I've been driving around to work and to the Moose and just driving around, and I'm like, there's no way everybody's gonna vote for Trump. And then I'm looking around, and every house has a Trump flag or a Trump thing.
Yeah.
I'm like, I am surrounded by fucking idiots. Right?
Well, our system is fucked, the Electoral College, but you don't have to worry about. You can sleep soundly knowing that Chicago and sorry for the pun, trumps the rest of the state, and we will always vote as a state Democratic.
Sure.
Here in Peoria, especially Pekin, you're going to get Republicans they're going to vote Trump.
Sure.
But Chicago will rule the rest of the state, and it'll be points for Biden.
Right.
In the scheme of things, whatever, that helps Biden, but that doesn't mean the rest of the country is going to vote that way.
It's insane, right?
My daughter said the other day, she's like, "What is all these people with the signs?" And I said, "You know what? As long as they're not hurting people, people can put whatever signs out that
Sure.
they want. I totally endorse that. Even the people that drive around with pickup trucks and huge Trump flags.
Oh yeah, they're
to me, it's
bigger than an American flag. Like
it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like something like that is ridiculous. But I think those people, first of all, are stupid people.
Sure.
I mean, it's just a stupid person would do that.
Right.
Second of all, I think that person is also like they don't know what they're doing. All that they know that they're doing is like pissing people off. They're doing it just to piss people off. And that's like a super immature and ridiculous thing.
Sure.
But I support their right to do it. They should be able to do it. It's just like
it's obnoxious.
It's like when in January, middle of January, I go to Walmart and I see guys walk in with shorts on. I'm like, oh, I don't have to deal with that guy ever. I know that guy's a fucking retard because he's walking into Walmart in the middle of winter in central Illinois in shorts.
Right.
Same thing with the guy, whether he's got a Trump or Biden flag in the back. If you are a fucking retard enough to have that kind of flag on your truck, you look stupid. Thank you. I know I never have to deal with you.
Thank you for
never
pointing it out so I can stay away from you.
Yeah, it's the same thing to me. But I support the right to do it.
But CouchCon and Couch Pilots is going to live to see 2021 no matter what happens.
Looks like it.
So
we're getting close to that. It was so weird that this is a lost year to COVID, and somehow, fingers crossed, we survived it.
Who's going to get it, me or you?
Who's going to get COVID?
Yeah.
I think the answer is both of us.
Yeah.
Everyone, unless there's an absolute like vaccine that comes out for it, everybody will get it eventually.
Right.
I've been saying that since the beginning.
Right.
Oh well. Anything new happened with you this week? Anything fun?
No, I just doing what I can to get through the day and watching pilots, working 2 jobs. I'm cutting wood. Me and Molly have a craft booth coming up here in about 3 weeks, so I've been really working to get it taken care of.
Awesome.
Get ready. So we're gonna try to make some of that money.
Got to build that inventory up, right?
Yeah.
I'm looking
But
at
not too much. That's the thing is, what's the cutoff? Like, how many of X do you need to A, make money, and B, not have to bring a bunch of it fucking home? That's the magic number.
I'd say you make one of all of your cool big items, and then you just dole out 10, 15 of your best sellers, and you bring that shit, and hopefully your best sellers are small. And they probably are, right? People want to pay a low amount, so that means they might buy like a squirrel picnic table or some shit. I'm looking at your beer, and you're drinking Pabst Blue Ribbon, which is not like you. You're usually a Miller Lite guy.
Or a Miller High Life guy.
What happened here?
I went to Casey's on the way home from work. I only wanted to buy 4, and they had no High Life.
Huh.
So for $3.59, I got 4 of those.
So that's pretty cheap. How is it?
Oh, tomorrow I'll have diarrhea all day.
Pabst Blue Ribbon. This is coming from you, Captain Philip Rester. Pabst Blue Ribbon gives you diarrhea.
Oh, every time.
Whew, boy.
Every time. I don't have the stomach for it.
So why? Just because you have to have something?
Because it was $3.59.
Okay. But you know you're going to get diarrhea.
Yeah.
Okay.
I have diarrhea all the time.
No, that's right. Every shit is an emergency. That's right. Okay. This weekend I went to a taco festival.
Yeah, I heard you talk. Speaking of diarrhea, you went to a taco festival with your daughter and your current girlfriend,
right?
And so you're into all kinds of food. You'll eat anything from like cow tongue tacos to like
cow pussy,
Taco John's, which I can't believe anybody eats that.
What are you talking about?
The meat is gross. It's
no. It's better. It's better than Taco Bell.
Really?
The meat is, yeah. I think I've drank just enough beer tonight. This to being our second show that we've recorded this evening. I've drank just enough beer to go to Taco John's after this and get a super potato ole.
Can't do it.
Do you get it at the East Peoria one or
Oh yeah.
You don't go to the Kentucky one?
Well, if I do, I've been to that one plenty, but to me, it's too much of a temptation in the car to eat, and that's dangerous.
I'm glad. Safety first.
I've already drank enough I can't layer a 7-layer burrito on top of it.
That makes sense. But you only live maybe like
it's like
7 feet from the Taco John's in East Peoria.
Yeah, I can reach out my window and touch it. It's wonderful. That was one of the perks. They said, just to let you know, you're gonna live next to a Taco John's. Like, don't present it to me like that. This
Right.
is a plus, not a minus.
It was on the contract.
Oh yeah. I said I want to be able to touch it out my window. So you don't like Taco John's at all?
No.
You like Taco Bell though?
Yeah, I'll eat Taco Bell.
What is the difference to you?
The Taco John's meat is like thick and
Hell
like
yeah.
and like beany.
Viscous.
It's beany.
Oh, so much bean. Well, that reminds me, I got to get a bean burrito. Hold on, let me make a note of that real quick. B E E E E E N. Okay. I went to the Taco Fest and I don't know what I was expecting, I guess.
So you had to pay for tickets. This wasn't just something you could just walk up to. You had to pay for tickets.
Yeah, you
got the VIP tickets.
Yeah, my girlfriend's like, let's get the VIP. And
Does she like tacos?
Oh yeah.
What kind of tacos? Fish tacos?
Yeah, she likes fish tacos. She likes cabeza, which is head tacos. She likes chicharron, which is skin tacos, pig skin. She loves chimichangas.
Quesadillas?
We love it. We love it all. We're big. We're big into exotic Mexican food stuff. And they had a pork belly taco down there. That was it was awesome.
So all the different vendors had different kinds of tacos?
Some were similar. Some got out there a little bit. There's downtown Macho Taco. Have you ever heard of that fucking shit?
No.
Their whole thing is.
Oh yeah.
They look like like professional luchador wrestlers. That's kind of the theme of the restaurant. So they have a lot of masks.
Sure.
And they have like dummies in the restaurant with masks on that look like luchadors. It's fine. It's okay. It's good for like midnight drunk food next to Diesel downtown. But yeah, they had probably like 10 vendors. You can go there and you buy ticket, like food vouchers, and you get in. But it wasn't very well run.
Sure.
But it wasn't the vendors' fault. They did great. It's just the shitty people who came in to run the event.
To make a quick buck.
Yeah, to make a quick buck. But I tell you what, you put taco on a banner and you throw it out there for the public. I'm gonna react every time.
Maybe CouchCon next year, a taco bar.
I know CouchCon just ended. But my thoughts for next year's CouchCon was maybe just to do like this big outdoor, kind of like a music festival, but we'd have like a lot of food trucks and stuff.
All right, go old school. Yeah, like Woodstocky.
I thought we would go Red Rock. You know?
Ooh,
I thought we could go
good acoustics.
Yeah, I thought we could go to Red Rock and just make it like a big music festival.
I'll get a hold of them. This is a good time to do it because tickets are going to go on sale here in about a month and a half.
Yeah, it's of course the inaugural tickets for the next year's CouchCon is always the day after Christmas until New Year's Day. That's when we sell the tickets. All the VIP. That's when tickets go on sale. We always sell out.
Sure.
But I would say that Red Rock would be a really cool destination.
Oh, yeah.
We get a lot of musical acts, a lot of our friends who do musical stuff. I've got a line into Fish. I've got a line into Rusted Root and Dave Matthews Band and Jack Johnson. All these kind of jam band.
Sure. Sounds
I
awesome.
don't want to say douchebags, but I will. Listen to the Sixer, won't you?
If you were to put those bands in front of me as our
Send me on my way.
we take CouchCon really seriously. We take our show seriously.
Oh yeah.
But
if you've ever listened to one episode, you know how serious we take this
since
show.
day one, CouchCon has always been our huge thing. We put a lot of time into it. We want to do the best thing we can for everybody. And for you to put those bands on the table, it's like you're slapping the face of every...
What?
You're slapping the face of every listener.
Are you saying slap in the bass?
Mon.
Are you saying it's a slap?
We'll talk about it. We have a couple weeks.
Hold on a second. What bands would you like to see? America?
No.
Who?
We're gonna have the Goddamn Gallows.
Oh,
for
I
sure.
see. I see. Okay.
Scott H. Byram.
These are all opening acts, by the way.
And Billy English. And
William Eilish, you mean?
huh?
William Eilish?
Yeah, William Eilish. And I think to top the night off, Mudvayne. I've been really into Mudvayne lately. Hell yeah.
You heard me say the word douchebag earlier, right?
Oh yeah.
All right. So first of all, everything you named is opening acts, and then Mudvayne. Are they from Peoria?
Yeah.
Okay, so like, just so we're on the same page, Mudvayne does suck, right?
Oh yeah, for sure. They have like 4 songs I like.
I love that you agree they suck.
But
I've
been really into like when I'm out in the garage doing woodworking.
Yeah.
I've been listening to Stained, like the first album.
Stained.
Dysfunction, the first album.
How old are you, man?
Listen,
fucking get it together.
Stained, the first album, Dysfunction, is good.
No.
I say the Mud Shovel. You ever heard the song Mud Shovel?
No.
And I've been listening to some Mudvayne, and
As a joke. If it's just you in the garage by yourself listening to these bands, it's not a joke then.
well, it's funny because one day I was off Friday, and I'm out in the garage trying to clean it up, whatever, working.
Yeah, it looks great.
And Molly pulls up after work. Since 5 o'clock in the morning, it's like 10-hour day for her.
Yeah.
She pulls up, and I'm blaring Mudvayne, and she goes, "Really? Are we doing this?"
Is she hosting WTF with Mark Maron right now?
And so, lock the gates! And so the next day, I'm out there again working, cleaning it up, and she pulls up again, and I'm listening to Stained, the first album, Dysfunction, which is a good album.
There are literally hundreds of thousands of other albums you could be listening to. What the fuck happened? Like, I like to poke fun a little bit. Not you poke way more fun at me. I like to poke a little bit of fun at the Roots music. But that stuff's pretty good.
Yeah.
And you're going to listen to Stained?
The first album is good.
Oh, I heard what you said.
It's not. It's been a while. The first one was hard. I liked it. And so she gets out of the car. She goes. She goes. This is enough.
This is enough.
Like, go back to,
Look,
listen to Luke Combs.
what do I always say? And not what do I always say, but what's tattooed right above the crack of my ass? Bros before hoes. I back you up all the time. But in this instance, when Molly comes home and she intros WTF with "Are we doing this?" I have to back her up on this one, bro.
Will you? Okay, on the way home, will you listen? No, just stop. Listen to Stained's first album, Dysfunction.
I will not listen to it.
Well, then you're a closed-minded person, and you probably don't like black people.
Is that the bellwether for whether or not you like black people?
Hey, bro, you listen to Dysfunction by Stain?
I don't listen to that shit.
You hate blacks, huh? You fucking racist, bro?
What I'm trying to say is you don't have an open mind and are willing to try different things.
It's like saying, hey, I know you probably haven't tried this before, but I got this glass of arsenic here. You want to drink a glass of arsenic? It's like, no, I'm an educated person. I know arsenic tastes like shit and will kill me instantly. But you want to try it still, right? I don't want to try it at all. Same thing with that fucking album. I'm not going to listen to Stained. They left the E out between the N and the D.
Another, the best Mudvayne song is Dig.
That was a single, right?
It was on an album, but yeah, it was, No, it was just a song.
I realized it was probably on an album. I'm asking. I think it was one of their singles, one of their hits, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
I saw them live in concert. Actually, I sat out in the lobby, but
This is out at the East Peoria Center, right? The
yeah.
East Peoria. What was that called? It was like a convention center, but it's
yeah.
like just a big empty shit building
yeah,
now.
no, I like the Mudvayne song "Dig." I like.
Dig, bury me, what's your name? And I'm singing out, wow, slowly rearrange it. I would love to say
My favorite is like,
let me help you tie the noose around your neck. Let me help you jump off the ledge.
Let me hold the gun up to your head.
I have no interest in that. I think very late 90s to early to mid
You'll listen to fucking Tool, but you won't listen to Mudvayne. That's ridiculous.
I wish that you could hear
Jesus
yourself.
Christ.
I wish you could hear yourself.
I hate you right now.
I wish you could hear yourself.
That's ridiculous.
Those are two completely different planes, my friend. Good Lord. Were they wear masks?
They painted their face.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. My mistake.
They wore costumes.
My mistake. Cool. That's cool. That's way cool. I'm sorry.
But not in later years.
Ladies and gentlemen, the captains have turned on the fasten seatbelt sign.
There's a certain amount of pretension that goes with being a Tool fan. I think we have some fan feedback this week. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, it's all the reviews from the first album of Stain.
If that's the case, I quit the show.
You're not. You know what?
What?
I've got the tools in my hand now. I might just play a song. Here we go. This is a voicemail.
Oh, voicemail. Great.
Yeah, let's check it out. And on 3.
Someone's getting some frequent flyer points.
Hey, Blake, Jason, the captains. Good old buddy Dave here. Just calling, well, guys, come on, I'm desperate. I gotta make it to CouchCon, man. I have to be there. But as you probably know, I'm unemployed right now. I think you also know, I've wasted my entire savings on some Garbage Pail Kids cards, which just turned out to be a fiasco, total scam, and so I'm screwed. Now, I mean, I tried offering you guys a bunch of different stuff. I mean, the Orange Julius bucks. You said no. The slightly used kitty litter, which, by the way, has a great resale value on it, and again, no. Not to mention the real Sacagawea dollar coins, which are freaking mint, by the way. Mint. I even offered to babysit that pet orangutan you have. Well, I guess you don't have, and that didn't work out. And okay, so what? That was a fever dream. Whatever. But I mean, I stopped smoking after I got COVID. I can't drink after I got a seizure, and so I mean, CouchCon. That's the pilots. That's all I have left, man. So just tell me what to do so I can get there. So you get a hold of me. You got my number. But fly high, stay cool. Bye.
You know, we played
Love
this.
you.
It's kind of post. Love you too, buddy.
I love you, David.
It's kind of post CouchCon, but we had this in our bank prior to.
Yeah, we didn't play it.
We did.
We made him a deal. He had a lot of shit that he was trying to bargain. He's very upfront about not having a job and wanting to work and making attempts to do that.
Sure.
Some people don't work and they don't make any attempts to try to get a job. Dave is out there hustling. And so we took all of this into consideration, and I tell you right now, we took all of his Garbage Pail Kids.
Oh yeah, for
cards.
sure. But he did. It's funny. We took all his Garbage Pail Kids, and I'll take those Sacagawea coins all day, every day.
Yeah, let's split that up. You can have the sacks. I'll
Right.
take the garbage.
Oh yeah, and I'll always take the sacks over garbage.
Mm-hmm.
But there was a grant. We just filled out a paperwork for a grant, and we sent him the VR headset, and hopefully we haven't heard from him since then.
Hopefully he sends us a voicemail about his experience at CouchCon. We'd love to hear what he has to say. But yeah, that was just a little something from Dave, a great fan of the program, a great listener who's reaching out and saying, I would love to be a part of CouchCon.
Right, and so we have some Facebook
Fan feedback.
fan feedback too.
Great. Dave, thank you so much for your voicemail. We really appreciate it. Cha-ching, you're getting some frequent flyer points.
Give him some more because he posts, hey, shame on you, Jason. Fifth Element is one of the greatest movies of all time.
I don't remember what I said about it.
All right.
Was I bad-mouthing it?
I think so.
Probably not.
And then this comes from Dee Dee all the way in Australia. In response, oh, God damn it. In response to Chris Tuckley's AI-generated Blake Clayton porn story, I have got an Australian app.
That was like 4 or 5 weeks ago.
Yeah. I have got an Australian app to do the same. Please note the supply difference. Supple, S-U-P-P-L-E. Supple differences. Scene. Blake Clayton.
Probably subtle is what was supposed to be.
Blake Clayton comes across
You okay?
a scantily clad female.
Scantily.
Yep. lying on a bed in a small hut in an Australian outback. Blake, you're a beautiful looking Sheila. Do you want a root? Female, as long as you don't talk about woodworking, 10-pin bowling, or podcasting. Blake, you're on. 3 minutes later, both Blake and the female are asleep on the bed. Noted. Hold on. Notably, Blake has wiped his penis on the curtain. The end.
You know what? Short and to the point. And that's kind of how your sex life is too, right?
Here it comes. Before it drops.
Now you're playing Stained?
This is Mud Shovel. This is their best song.
You take away.
Been a while.
Oh, God.
You just let me get to the good part.
Been waiting all night for that.
It says tainted smile.
I know you like the
Your
word
tainted
taint.
smile again.
I will give you that was a good part of the song where he says the word taint. But everything you just played fucking sucks.
Okay. All right. Whatever. We have musical differences. Hey, if you like Jason's style of music, hashtag douche tool. If you like my kind of music on Twitter, hashtag mud shovel.
Yeah, I don't really care about that.
Okay. Well,
You know what? How about this?
you care about what you want to care
How about
about.
this? You win automatically.
You know what?
How about
Perfect.
that? Does that sound good to you? Oh, God. Thank you, Dee Dee and David, for all of your fan feedback. We appreciate it. You're getting frequent flyer points. The Pachinko machine has calculated them, and you will know shortly what your total is. Today, we discussed the pilot episode of Justice for All from the year of our Lord 1900 plus 68. Now, I tell you this, that is a great year.
That was way back on the call sheet. 1968.
A year before, what's that?
9/11.
Woodstock, 9/11.
Yeah. The year before Woodstock. All right. So that would make me -8.
Yeah, that would be -13.
Yeah. So
So 7, probably -7.
I was 7? -7?
All right. Let's go back in time to 1968.
In our minds.
And to do so, we'll talk about things that happened in that year so we can properly digest Justice for All and give it its propers based on the time period in which it was created.
Right. Because 1968 is a lot different than 2020. I mean,
Yeah.
First of all, let's just be obvious. There was no COVID back then.
Well, I think they had COVID 1 or 2 back then.
Yeah, that's true. Right, we don't have Jimi Hendrix now. We had it in 1968, but we didn't have Jimi Hendrix now.
What a waste.
And Cheap Trick, still in Rockford in their underwears and their diapers. And also,
That's true.
we didn't have Crosby, Stills, and Nash because in 1968 you had Crosby, Stills, Nash, and Young at Woodstock.
Okay. Yeah, great.
Some musical references because it seems like a musical themed show. So
No, you made it that with your horrible music. November 5th, 1968, U.S. presidential election. Republican candidate, Richard Nixon defeats Democratic candidate, Vice President Hubert Humphrey, and American Independent candidate, George C. Wallace. That's interesting. Is it like a American Independent Party?
he made it to the final ballot.
I think almost anyone can make it to that ballot, essentially. But like, not a lot of people get like called out in history for that. Like, the only one I could really think of beyond that
Ross Perot.
is 1992. Ross Perot.
Ross Perot. R.I.P.
If you were to create your own third party political party, what would you call it, and what would you stand behind? What would be your flagship issue?
I'm glad you asked because I already have this. As soon as you asked me the question, I knew it. We would be the Democratic Republicans, which were was an original party. What? You taking your earphones off?
I'm just adjusting my headphones.
Your ear.
My ear heads.
Earplugs.
My plug feds. Fucking belt it out.
The Democratic Republican was the second. There was no name for it.
There were the Whigs.
Yes. Well, no, but they broke off when Alexander Hamilton got when he went to the Continental Congress. They broke off and they became the Democratic Republicans. That's where they split.
Is all of your knowledge of U.S. history from the musical Hamilton?
Pretty much.
That's fine.
Pretty much.
Hey, it's better than nothing. It's better than nothing. November 14th, Yale University announces it's going to admit women. What is there anything currently that we allow women to do that we shouldn't allow women to do?
Drive NASCAR.
Yeah, that's one.
Yeah.
Anything else you can think of? My thought is the Boy Scouts because it says boy in it.
Well, they have to. They have to let them in because they are broke because of all the
pedophilia.
Yeah.
I would say.
And by the way, you only have till November 6th to put in your lawsuit. By the way.
Oh, I better get on it.
No, that's true. That's damn true.
I think girls shouldn't be allowed in Boy Scouts, right? I don't think so.
It's just the Scouts now. They just call it the Scouts.
If it's going to be called the Boy Scouts, then it should be for boys. If it's called the Scouts, I mean, the girls have Girl Scouts, right?
Oh, yeah, but that's just selling cookies. This is a cookie
Those
factory.
are good cookies, though, right?
Some of them are. I miss the shortbreads.
November 22nd, Plato's Stepchildren, the 12th episode of Star Trek third season is aired, featuring the first ever interracial kiss on U.S. national television between Lieutenant Uhura and Captain
Picard.
No, Captain James T. Kirk.
Oh, yeah.
Now, I never watched the original Star Trek series, but all I ever hear is how William Shatner funked his way across the galaxy.
Yeah.
What kind of crazy space aids do you think he would have?
Space aids. I don't think in space they don't have AIDS.
Kind of like you can't scream in space, but you can't get AIDS in space.
Right. AIDS in space.
1968, a black lady kisses a white fella. That's controversial.
Yeah, right. And if you have to think about this, the black girl kissing a white guy.
I think about it all the time. You said think about it, right? I think about it all the time.
Well, you don't even finish the sentence. Think about this as you're watching this pilot.
Yeah.
Because it's very relevant for the time.
Yes, the pilot that we're
It
discussing
will help you
today.
go back there.
In our mind. Mudvayne? Stop it.
No, it was Eddie Van Halen.
Mudvayne?
It was Eddie Van Halen. R.I.P. He
I didn't even know he was sick.
had cancer, dummy.
Cancer dummy.
I didn't know this, but he actually like had part of his tongue removed to try to stop the cancer. I did not know that.
Yeah, that's what you get for only asking for brown M&Ms.
Well, also, he said it wasn't from smoking. All those years of smoking, he says, my throat cancer had nothing to do with it.
Probably Michael Douglas from eating all that pussy, right?
No.
No?
He said it was from all the times on stage where he would put his metal pick in his mouth while he was playing like a tap solo. And he said it was the metal pick on his tongue along with all the the electricity from the speakers that caused him to have it. That's what he
Okay. I don't know. I don't fucking know. I mean, rarely do I go to rock and roll guys for medical advice, but who's to say?
now. Woo! Girl, you really got me now. You got me so I don't know what I'm doing.
Really got me. Why do we choose to watch Justice for All?
3 simple criteria. 1, it was a pilot that never went to series. Whether it aired or not is irrelevant. 1 and done. Number 2, it had to be found on the internet. For us to we had to scour onto Facebook, for Christ's sake.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot, Ruckerberg. And 3, it had to be free.
That's right. So you could probably ask yourself, where do I find the entire episode of Justice for All? We can do so by subscribing to Couch Pilots in SoundCloud, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or your favorite podcast app of choice, and then simply click on one of our classically blue links in our show notes, or go to Facebook and take a face look.
Can't do it.
I think I'd do something about sitting on your face. That would have been funnier.
That's how you get cancer.
Can't do it.
Hey, is it worth it in the end? Maybe so.
Probably not. Right?
I don't agree. It was so funny. It reminds me of that. The other day, Eli was all mad at me. And he was like, I'm going to put you in a home when you're 70. I go, I'm not going to fucking live that long. He goes,
true.
I'm going to put you in a home when you're 60. And I go, that's fine. I was like, the quicker to death is the better.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. When applied to you, I agree. Summary of the pilot. The 1968 unaired pilot for what would eventually become the iconic TV series All in the Family.
A+.
Oh, wow.
It didn't describe the pilot at all. It just said the finish, where it went.
Okay.
And that association is good enough for me. A+.
Wow. Oh, wow. Wow. Interesting facts, I guess.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Interesting Facts. This is where Jason has scoured the internet to find knowledge about this pilot that you may not know. Only one rule, the Conrad rule, is in effect. Please do not express your opinion about these facts to anyone else. Keep them to yourself. Don't taint someone else's experience. Jason, proceed.
You don't know what hard times are, Daddy.
Okay, interesting facts. The original pilot for All in the Family was just titled Justice for All and was developed for ABC. In the pilot, Carol O'Connor and Gene Stapleton played Archie and Edith Justice
Right.
instead of Bunker. Kelly Jean Peters played Gloria, and Tim McIntyre played her husband, Richard. Fact. It was taped in October 1968 in New York City. Get a rope. Fact.
It's a fact. Usually let me do the get a rope.
It was
part.
taped in October 1968.
Get a rope.
After screening the first pilot, ABC gave the producers more money to shoot a second pilot entitled "Those Were the Days," which Norman Lear, taped in February 1969 in Hollywood. Fact.
Somebody get a pool.
Okay, not bad. I mean, not as good, but still fine. Tom Bosley, Jack Warden, and Jackie Gleason were all considered for the role of Archie Bunker. Fact.
I can see Jackie Gleason.
Okay, what about Jack Warden?
Give me a reference.
He was, I think he was the guy that was buddies with Tom Hanks in Big. He was like the boss who would like dance on the piano with him. You know,
the
that
girl
piano
danced on
keyboard?
the piano with them.
No, absolutely not. They're in a toy store, and it was
Yeah,
Jack
I don't like that guy.
because he thought he was a girl. And then Tom Bosley, I can see too, but I don't think you would know who he is. I think he might have been was he the dad on Happy Days? Tom Bosley, he may have been.
Oh, really? No, I don't see that working out either.
CBS wanted to buy the rights to the original show and retool it specifically for Gleason, who was under contract to them, but producer Norman Lear beat out CBS for the rights and offered the show to ABC.
So the guy
Fact.
that wrote it had the final say, or he had the money.
Norman Lear, I don't know if he wrote it, but he was definitely the creative and producing force behind
Right.
it. Yes,
But he had to say, like, this network wanted to buy it. He's like, no,
correct.
I'll
Fact.
sell it to these other people.
I think you know this name. Mickey Rooney was offered the role of Archie Bunker, but turned it down because he felt the character was un-American.
Oh.
Fact.
I'm glad I didn't say what I thought of it.
What were you going to say?
A bigot.
Well, I mean...
But ironically,
every
most Americans are bigots, right, for the most part.
the series, Justice for All, was followed by All in the Family, 1971. Followed then by...
Archie Bunker's Place.
And then followed by that, 704 Hauser.
Oh, which was the address that they lived at?
Very good. Wow, okay. I didn't know that. That was a short-lived TV series about a black family that moved into the Archie Bunker's house after he had sold the place.
Okay.
And there was a bunch of characters. There's one guy I do recognize. I can't remember his name. Amos Lee. Amos something. He may have been Rock on Fox's Rock. Do you remember that show was on for a few years?
Yeah.
I think it was him. And then also had Maura Tierney, who was on News Radio and ER. She was a white lady, but the rest of the cast, it was largely a black television show.
Nice.
End of interesting facts.
Good job, man.
Thanks. Twitter responses.
Twitter responses. It's doubtful Jason got some Twitter responses.
You're right. I didn't have any. They're all dead except the 98-year-old creator of the program, Norman Lear.
Yeah.
Still alive. He did not respond. But what kind of deal with the devil did this man make to live so long?
Well, isn't he part of the group of like
Menudo?
No, you always try to downplay every.
You're struggling to come up with the word. I could see you close your eyes and struggle. I thought you were going to say Menudo.
He was hanging out with Mel Brooks
Menudo.
on a daily basis. They were right.
I don't know. That was Mel Brooks and then Carl Reiner.
Right. I thought
who just passed away.
Yeah.
He may have been in that group.
I thought he was in that group.
He's an old Jewish guy just like them, maybe. 98, but he's still like last year. Oh shit, what's her name? It was Woody Harrelson, and then another lady. Damn it. Anyway, they recreated an episode of All in the Family.
Oh yeah, it was like little live TV things. Where
Yeah. I can't remember the lady's name. That's damn it. She was in like
The Fifth Element.
No, she was in My Cousin Vinny. She won the Oscar, comedic Oscar, which is very odd and very rare. Anyway, she was great in it as Edith Bunker. Woody Harrelson played the bigoted Archie Bunker, and Norman Lear was there in person watching it.
Yeah.
And he's like, they're not I don't think they're wheeling him around. Like,
he's still getting around. Yeah,
and he's sharp. 98 years old. 98. Can you even imagine?
No, I don't want to imagine. I don't want to.
And you won't see your 60th birthday. Let's go ahead and set the clock for 10 minutes. And we will break down the pilot episode of Justice for All. I hope to God. You said you don't have any notes for this one?
No, I watched it in bed.
Do you want me to start off? Or
No, I'll start it off.
Please.
You see like a old camcorder kind of like film of quality of a neighborhood, and the song that you've been playing, the All in the Family song.
Those were the days.
Those were the days.
Sung by
Edith
cast.
Bunker and Archie.
Mm-hmm.
And then it eventually like goes down the street, you're passing all these houses, and it goes zooms into the front door.
Yep. Gene Stapleton has that high-pitched voice. It's panning through the neighborhood. They go to their home. There's a young man who just gets home, and his woman is making a meal. This is Gloria and Richard. They're preparing for an anniversary party.
Yeah, it's Archie and Edith's anniversary. The daughter is the one that's making, and I loved her stockings in this. I
didn't notice. You loved her stockings.
They are very good.
Are they of the Bobby variety?
No, those are socks, dummy.
I'm stupid.
The stockings are nice. So that's their daughter, and she's making a brunch for them because they're at church. The first time that Archie has went to church with her in many, many years.
Mm-hmm.
And
I think it's their 22nd anniversary.
Yes,
which with the
napkins.
times,
It's
I
napkins.
would think, first of all, napkins is what I immediately thought of.
Right. The 22nd anniversary, you always get napkins.
I would assume, though, that the Gloria, the daughter, is probably 20 or 21.
21.
If they've only been married 22 years, that's what happened then. You got married and then you had a kid.
Well, and they talked about it earlier. Like later on, he's like, hey, it was 2 years before we ever had sex, and that was on our wedding night. So yeah, about 20.
So a guy was upstairs fixing the TV. Now this is Lionel, and I'm pretty sure this is Lionel Jefferson, who would be a spinoff from this show to go be on the Jeffersons, and obviously was recasted into the. I can't remember that guy's name either right now.
No, but for sure.
They kind of hint at political talk here, and this is the first of what will make up not only this episode, but when the series comes on as we know it today. That's what the show is. It's all racial, political. It's real talk, real American talk, but in a sitcom form.
Right, and he's upstairs fixing the TV. The daughter and the son-in-law actually buy the present and the card because they know Archie's not going to do it. And they make this black gentleman. Well, they ask him to. They give him 50 cents to go buy some flowers, and then come back delivering this package,
showing that it's from Archie.
Right.
This feels like a play from the beginning. We watch this, and the entire show, 36 minutes of this program, is all set in the Archie bunker or the Archie Justice residence, which makes up a living room and kind of a dining room and kitchen, all this open space and stairs. That's the whole thing we see is right there, and
it's kind of like a play. It had a play like a
that's
Broadway.
What I just said. That's what I just said.
Really?
I just said it was like a play.
Oh.
Richard is wearing a big peace sign around his neck. A very kind of obvious thing.
Yeah.
And a lot of beads. So
his top is very like flowing.
Kind of loose,
it's very
hippie.
It's like hippie, but not too hippie.
The young kids who apparently are married, they go upstairs to funk before the parents get home from church. Gloria is the daughter. And when the parents get home, they get home early. They rush downstairs, kind of tucking in their clothes. And this is first of several times I notice that the boom mics are visible.
Yes, I did see that a couple times as well. Yeah.
Archie is smoking a cigar, and he's a tough nut. He's kind of an old guy set in his ways. And I keep putting her name as Judith, but Edith. Edith is she's a sweet old lady.
She's a sweet older lady.
She's a real pip.
She is, I would say she's naive, maybe. Wants to make the peace always. Obviously, she's been married to this guy who's kind of an asshole.
Kind of a son of a bitch.
Kind of a son of a bitch for sure. So she's been married to him for a long time.
Yeah.
She believes in staying with your husband, obviously, and she's adapted to him. But I don't really think she's necessarily stupid. I think she's naive. But he reiterates through this whole pilot that she's a big fucking moron.
Calls her a pip, calls her a dingbat, I think.
And a dummy. He calls her a dummy even.
Gloria is excited to present her parents with brunch. Archie prefers the good old days and very regularly butts heads with Richard.
Yeah, and Richard's going to college. He's going to be a counselor of some kind.
Yeah, he's a liberal, and he's going. I can't remember what it says he's going for, but
He's a social worker, I think.
I think you're right.
Yeah.
Very early on, Richard is called Meathead for the first time, and that's a staple. Gene Stapleton for the rest of the series.
Chris Stapleton.
Oh, very good, even better. Is it any relation?
Yeah, they're brothers.
Gene Stapleton, the woman, is brothers with Chris Stapleton.
Yeah.
Holy cow, the age difference! My God. Archie says blacks, which I think is fine.
And Black Beauties.
But and he also says spicks, which is not as fine.
Yeah, and doesn't he say? I don't know if he says chink, but he makes a Asian reference.
Oh, I don't know if I got that.
And there was a lot of Jew references as well. Which this is, and I did some research on this show.
Please,
but during this he has a confrontation with Leon or a discussion with Leon, right, about being Jewish, and
later in the show, yeah,
right. And he's like, I'm not a Jew. I'm not Jewish. Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Come to find out, in real life, he was Jewish.
Carol O'Connor is a Jewish guy.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. Well, do some research.
Maybe I'll do some more scouring. O'Connell, you think immediately Irish or Scottish.
Right, but he grew up in Queens in the Jewish area. So you're welcome, by the way.
Thank you so much. Do you always thank me for the information? I don't know.
No, I'm saying you're welcome for the information that I gave. It's like a bonus.
But okay.
It's like when you on Donkey Kong, when you grab the barrel instead of jumping over it, and you grab it and you throw it.
You can do that? I don't know that you can do that in Donkey Kong. Okay. So I'm expected to come up with information, and you don't have to say thank you to me, but when you do it, I should be thanking you.
Thank you.
Got it. Richard is definitely a liberal, and Archie it seems to be a bigot.
Yeah, and they argue the whole time, and it's not just like hey, we're having a heated discussion. Like it's very loud.
It's constant,
and it's constant. And this whole This whole 35 minutes is just arguing. They talk from everything from blacks to God and the existence of God and all this stuff. And it's constant.
Archie is loud and he's complaining about the priest at the church they were just at. They left early. Richard, turns out, is an atheist. And Archie is highly offended and calls his wife a dingbat and tells her to stifle herself. He keeps saying stifle yourself.
That was one of the funniest things. Like every time she tried to like stop him or say anything opposite of what he thought, Edith, stifle yourself, Edith, stifle yourself. And I was like, if I told Molly to stifle herself while people were at our house,
she'd pick up a barrel like in Donkey Kong and throw it at you.
You could pick him up and throw him.
Archie, okay, so Archie says, "God damn it," and he justifies it. First of all, I didn't think you can say that on TV. Second of all, Archie breaks down why it's okay to say "God damn it," which it doesn't make sense. He's just justifying his shitty actions.
Anybody can do that. Like, I mean, if you believe in something or you can justify it somehow, whether it sounds right or not. But he was talking about God. That's God, and damn, it holds the towns from getting flooded, and then people were damned in the Bible. And so
they're basically having this discussion.
But they're saying like explain to us, what is God? Like, and he's just like, come on. They put him into a corner.
Yeah, Archie can't really articulate what it is to believe in God. It's just something that's obviously old school and tradition for him, and the fact that his kids or his son-in-law won't bow down to these traditions, it upsets him, especially because it's in his home, because they are living there.
Yeah, and living there for free.
And they're all sitting around the table ready to have brunch, but Archie won't let anyone eat until they complete this discussion about God and atheism. And a lot of this, too, feels like it's a lot of long shots with the camera.
Right.
And there are some obvious times there are cuts, but for the most part, it seems like
some really bad cuts in this pilot.
There are some bad cuts, but a lot of it seems like, this is a one shot for like 5 or 6 minutes,
like you're watching a play.
It really, I feel like I said that earlier. What else here? It's all, like I said earlier, it's all done on one set. They talk about God, the feeling of God, and again, Archie can't articulate, but then he likens God to the president, and that kind of wraps up the conversation, and then they go to what would be a commercial.
Right. And then comes back, and Leon comes in with the president.
Why are they all wearing these fucking hats? What are these hats?
I think the daughter made the party hats.
But
they don't mention it. They don't mention it at all.
They're just wearing them.
You don't see them prior to it, but when they cut back, they all have these goofy ass.
And Archie's got a really weird hat on. It's kind of like box shaped and then goes off to the side.
It was like a court jester hat, but didn't get done right.
Yeah, and he doesn't seem like the kind of guy who would do that. And the rest of the show, just like the beginning of the show, is all him arguing and making these points. Like, how can you take this guy seriously with this fucking? Maybe that was on purpose to make him look goofy, but have these kind of asshole point of views. I don't know, but to me, it was off putting, and it was a distraction.
Right. So Leon brings the president over. He has this long discussion with Leon about, I'm not racist, am I? Because I pay you to do stuff. Blah blah blah. We'll just go past that because there's every inappropriate word for any ethnicity is on there.
Wait, so, what? He said Negro?
He said Negro. That's when they were talking about Spics too. And a Chinaman of some kind. But
he says black people are slower than white people at one point.
Yes.
Yeah, so with Lionel showing up, though, Archie takes this opportunity to show that he's not a racist by showing his some of his relationships with black people.
But it was set up earlier that Lionel's like, he was talking before, Archie was there. He's like, oh no, he talks bad to me all the time. I just play the game.
Yeah, Lionel knows what kind of guy Archie is, and you're right. He plays along. But Archie's like, he's not prejudiced. But then he goes on to say the word Negro a couple times. And I don't even know if that was even appropriate in the late '60s. Maybe it was.
It was still, people were still calling people Negroes back then.
Archie says the word "tookus," and this sparks a Jewish discussion. And Lionel and Richard poke fun at Archie for being a Jew, and he's adamant that he's not.
Right.
So he seems to take offense to the accusation. They say, he said, "Tookus? Your parents were David and Sarah. Those are Jewish names. You're using your hands when you talk."
I didn't know that David and Sarah were Jewish names.
David, I think, is Sarah. I'm not sure.
Oh,
but
and he's like,
must be.
They're not even in the Bible, or
It says Judaism has nothing to do with the Bible, which I would say it's the first half of the Bible, right? So
that I got a chuckle out of that one for
so
sure.
he doesn't know what he's talking about. And speaking of chuckle, there is a laugh track. It seems like it's a live audience, and it may have been, but the laughter, whether it's canned or from a live audience, is very light, and it is not at all overwhelming.
No, we've seen a lot of stuff that's a lot more overwhelming. So Archie's wife opens her present. There's silk handkerchiefs, and then she sits down and she loves this. She hasn't had a present in years, like 10 years, and Archie's just kind of going along with it, even though he knows that he didn't get it right, but he's just playing along. And then she reads the card, and it's all this sweet stuff, and
She's very happy.
I felt for her. Like I remember, like it reminded me of when my grandpa would buy my grandma like a necklace for Christmas or something, or or earrings or something. She would just be. It would be like the bee's knees. You know what I mean? Like
Who cares about a lace hanky? Who cares about a necklace? It's the thought that these
Here's
people.
a guy who treats me like shit 364 days a year, right? Who calls me dummy and everything. But he does love me, and he's reassuring me because he bought me this gift and this beautiful card.
And you're right. Archie
I think she liked the card better than the gift.
She did, because there's a lot of thought and that went into the card. And you think at that point she would know his handwriting, unless it wasn't handwriting and it was just all written
I think it was pre-written out.
So anyway, she's
she
very
made
happy.
she made a comment about Hallmark, and it wasn't a Hallmark.
I think Archie, like you said, had figured out that the kids had set him up, and the card goes on, providing some false comic stops of the card and her keep going. But Judith is very touched. And then as she gets up and goes to the kitchen, the kids start to make out in front of Archie, which I thought was very odd. Why would they do that?
Yeah, no, they were making out while she was reading the card.
And then Archie and Richard kind of discuss the greeting card, and then we see a shot of the kitchen kind of at the end while I keep saying Judith, but while Edith and Archie sing us out with that song from the beginning. And that kind of collectively ends the program, right?
Right.
So
I think it was 23 minutes, maybe? Something like that?
The show? I think it was like 30,
32.
like 31, 32 minutes, yeah. But that's fine. It was it was a long one, I guess, for a sitcom.
Please remain seated as we are now crossing a zone of turbulence.
Turbulence indeed. So why the show didn't work, I actually have a little information as to why. If you have answers or things that you believe to be true, I hope that you save them.
I'll just butt in.
Okay. According to a November 4th, 1970 article in the Los Angeles Times, Justice for All was submitted to ABC at just the wrong time, according to Norman Lear. Our timing was bad. We turned it in right after ABC had turned off Turn On. Turn On was a broadcast for the first and last time on February 5th, 1969, so the pilot was presumably filmed in late 1968. I believe, I might be wrong, I believe Turn On was a one-off show that I have looked up before. Kind of a notorious show that was turned off during the broadcast.
Oh, wow.
Like, it was kind of controversial. I've looked into it before. I have not been able to find it. I don't know that it's available, but it's something that I think I even learned about maybe on the aforementioned WTF podcast.
Okay.
So it's funny that this was kind of paired with that and suffered because of it. ABC turned down Justice for All, but was confident enough in the concept, or perhaps in Norman Lear, to order a second pilot, this one called Those Were the Days. UCLA states that this pilot was filmed on February 16th, 1969. That seems like an awfully quick turnaround from the rejection from the first pilot to the filming of the second. In Alan Newworth's They'll Never Put That on Air, interviews with Fred Silverman and Leonard Goldberg suggest that the second pilot arrived at ABC around the time of Turn On, prompting the network to drop the whole thing for good.
Wow.
So a little information about why that didn't work and kind of the
timing is a big thing with pilots. We over the years you have to create something that somebody will see, and you have to create it. They have to see it at the right time.
I agree.
Yeah,
absolutely. Was there anything that you would do to improve the show? Well,
I completely understand why in late 60s, early 70s, it would, a lot of this stuff, it would be difficult. ABC, NBC, there's only three or four channels. they don't have to take this risk. You know, they don't
that's true.
want to get quote unquote a mud in their eye, right? So I can see where it would be difficult for being so poignant about the times. It's very relevant. The show is very relevant about the times. It really is.
It does wane in its relevancy, but you're right. It does for one or the other always seem to come back.
It's
around.
very social, very racial oriented. Like the topics of the day.
All in the Family remains a relevant show and a touch point when people look back at the history of the medium, for sure.
And also in All in the Family, over the years, it was on for 8 years. And, you know, for the latter years of it, you know, he does soften up and maybe kind of learns his lesson. I think that would help. That's kind of what helps it, like, have an arc. Like, all these people are like, oh, you're, you know, such an asshole or blah, blah, blah. And eventually, slowly, as he gets older, he maybe softens up and maybe understands, which is a very long arc, but it did work.
Well, to stay on the topic of what we do to improve it, as we know, this didn't work the way it was, but they retooled it in the next few years, which ultimately would become All in the Family. And we were talking about Carl Reiner and Norman Lear and Mel Brooks all hanging out. It was Carl Reiner's son, Rob Reiner, that would be recast in the role of quote unquote meathead.
Right, and then the daughter was recast as Sally Struthers.
Yes, yep.
Sally Struthers.
That's correct.
And that's what because when I started watching this, I remembered the song, and the song
Sure.
made complete sense, and I kind of remembered the layout of the house on the show, but then I saw these two people that I had no idea who the fuck
Right.
they were, and that's when I got thrown off. And then the bunkers walk in, they're the justice, but you know, so it was
Very, very familiar, but also some things you didn't recognize.
yeah, and I think I don't think that the son-in-law and the daughter fit the scheme of things very well. I think maybe they were too young. I think they were too young.
Yeah, to say that Archie looks old, and I know people looked older back then, you know, hard living and what have you, but like, yeah, you would think that the kids would be in their mid to late 20s versus, you know, 19 to 20-year-old kids.
Right.
You know, they have to be a little bit older.
Sure.
It's funny, actually, you say that, because in some of my other research for the show that I didn't include in this, the difference between age between Gene Stapleton and the woman who played the daughter was only 17 years.
Oh wow.
So you're right. There is an age difference that maybe is not as acceptable or as wide as we would have liked, and
Sure.
and they corrected that, I think, when the show went on to be All in the Family. Okay. So I think when we say what should be changed or what should we improve, I think they did that.
Right.
And obviously they did something right, because 8 years is a long time.
Yeah, and then you had a 4-year spinoff, and then like you said, there was another spinoff.
I think it only lasted for like 6 episodes. But then you also have not Archie's, but the 704 Hauser.
Yeah.
But and then you have like the Jeffersons spun off from that,
Right.
and that was a successful show.
Right.
Moving on up, baby.
You know, O'Connor played this character for like almost 14 years, 12 to 14 years. That's pretty crazy.
What's that? Kelsey Grammer played Dr. Fraser Crane for like 11
Yeah,
years
on
on
Cheers
Cheers,
and
and then
Frasier.
another 10 years, like 21 years. But then he's like, I can buy anything I want forever.
right.
So that's fine. I'd pay a guy for 21 years to own everything.
Ladies and gentlemen, as we start our descent, please make sure your seat backs and tray tables are in their full upright position.
Not a lot of reviews for this specific one-off pilot, but there is an IMDb score from scores taken from around the world. 1 to 10 is the score.
There's decimals in place.
Yeah, what do you think? There's 17 ratings here.
Like 7.5.
7.0. You keep trying to cheat. I don't know what's going on. It's off so much that it's like there's no way that people are submitting scores between the time I looked it up originally and you. Anyway, no critic reviews that I could find. Viewer reviews, 7 out of 10 stars. Interesting first All in the Family pilot. Having lost for many years, this very first All in the Family pilot finally surfaced, and we get to finally see how one of the greatest TV shows in history was born. This is definitely a must-see for all in the Family fans, as you don't always get the chance to see the origin of such a historic show.
Nice.
Yeah, that's not bad. That's nice little. That's something. That's a nice little something.
Oh, tidbitty.
Hey, you ever heard of this?
Did you watch the new Adam Sandler like Halloween show on
You guys hear about
Netflix?
this one? Yeah, I did.
What did you
For
think?
your safety and comfort, please remain seated until the captains turn off the fasten seatbelts.
I loved in the beginning how they had Ben Stiller reprise his role from Happy Gilmore.
Right.
Very funny. I love how they had some neighborhood bullies named O'Doyle after the bully O'Doyle from Billy Madison.
Right.
These subtle little nods to people who know the history
Sure.
is good.
It's like a big inside joke film.
It is. And then you have there's a lot of SNL people in there.
Sure.
Yeah, who are the SNL people?
That new that Spanish girl.
Miss Melissa Villaseñor.
Yeah, she was on it.
Kenan Thompson. What's Rob Schneider? Of course, Adam Sandler is in it.
Right.
There's probably a couple more that I'm not getting right now, but
Right.
it's chock full with all the usual suspects. Right?
I turned it on, and Eli was in the room, and I was like, as Molly was working, hey, we'll just bro out, we'll watch this. Because I don't like Adam Sandler. I don't like the which is exactly what I watched. Was an hour and a half of but and there was a lot of times like Eli laughed out loud, like a hard laugh, like he was chuckling. He had fun with it.
Yeah.
Like the thermos. Every time that thermos came out, Eli was laughing his ass off. And there's a lot of stuff that Eli's not going to get that I got. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Like references. But he enjoyed it. He had a good time with it. We watched it. The ending was nice. It was a good, feel good kind of ending. Did not expect the person to be the person that was doing the stuff.
Yeah.
But it was fun because I knew what I was expecting. Like my standards were like, okay, right? So
Yeah.
at the end of it, I was like, oh, happy Halloween.
Yeah.
So, it was good. But like I said, there was a lot of people on there that I like. Was it Ray Liotta? Is that?
Yeah, Ray Liotta.
That was the crazy too. But and seeing Shaquille O'Neal.
Yeah.
But the girl that was
Betsy Sidaro.
Yes, I love Betsy Sidaro. I love her.
She's great.
And when she came on, I was like, no way, that's awesome. So
Yeah, I mentioned that to my dumb girlfriend when we were watching it. I was like, that's Betsy Sidaro. She's like, yeah, I know. Because we've been watching Nailed It, that Nicole Byer making cake shows.
Yeah.
And Betsy Sidaro was on an episode of that. And I guess Betsy Sidaro was also on...
the marijuana show.
Yes.
Yes.
And
And
my girlfriend was like, I saw that show and I really like her.
She was great in it.
So, a lot of great people. They really got a lot of great people. Overall, it was fine. I didn't love it.
It's what you expected.
They could have cut out about 20 minutes of the
Sure,
show.
sure.
That they could have cut
But then they
out.
couldn't have fit everybody. Oh, the other guy, the black guy from Saturday Night Live, the Ladies Man.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
Oh, and of Maya Rudolph.
Maya Rudolph,
And
yeah.
Tim Meadows is the black guy.
Maya Rudolph, I think she's hot in a weird way. I don't know why. It's the freckles, I think, is what it is. The freckles.
Check out
B.
her early aughts, like when she was a young lady on that SNL. Very attractive.
Yeah. No, yeah, she's weathered for sure, but I still, give her props.
She used to be in some cool alternative rock bands when she was young, like
Really?
the Rentals. Have you heard of the Rentals? They're pretty cool.
I've heard of the homeowners.
No, that's not deserving of this at all.
All right, let's move along. I'm sorry.
All right, hold on a second.
I made us digress.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to FCF Airport. Local
Can't do it.
time is 11:11, and the temperature is 69 degrees. For your safety and comfort, please remain seated with your seatbelt fastened until the captains turn off the fasten seatbelt sign.
All right, I think I had to stretch this part out while you were peeing last episode in a digital space, but let me hand this off to you when we talk about grading the pilot.
Right. It's graded 1 through 7, 1 being the worst and 7 being the best. And those are points from the great sitcom Wings, which was in the 1990s. Roy Biggins is a 1, and that's the worst you can get. And a 7 is the best you can get. That's a Brian Hackett. So, Jason, I turn to you. Justice for All. How do you rate Injustice for All?
And the album Injustice for All or the pilot Justice for All?
I tricked you. Justice for All.
Okay, you almost got me.
You know what? Real quick, rate the album Injustice for All.
Out of 7?
Yeah.
6.
Yeah. Yeah.
I listened to that for like a year straight in my truck in like 1999. Okay, so the show Justice for All, I'm gonna give it a 4. I like Carol O'Connor's performance. It's a little loud, but it really gave way to feeling like a stage production,
like a play.
Yeah, there was. Thank you. Yeah, you happy with yourself? The the show broke ground, not unlike James T. Kirk kissing a black lady. But it really did, you know. It broke ground, and that they were saying, "Hey, what are some of the current hot button social issues?" And again, they're social issues that we still discuss to this day.
Right. That's one of the things I noticed as well. Is like, oh, this is the same. They're talking about rioting in this show. They're talking about rioting, and they're talking about how minorities are not being treated the same. I was like, this is 40 years later, and we're still talking about the same thing.
I don't know how entertaining that is, though. I can't see that week after week, just two guys bitching about I like the old days and say I am a progressive guy. Like I don't know if I can watch that every day. I can appreciate something a show doing something new,
but we are judging it off this pilot, and we're not judging it based on All in the Family.
I'm giving it a 4.
All right.
Captain Philip Rest, sure, I turn the Addy right
now. The husband and wife in this are amazing, acting wise. How they interact with each other.
The younger ones?
No,
Edith and Archie.
I liked how this is. Like I said, this is late '60s. I like how they're putting it out there. This is not the normal kind of stuff you'd watch. You're still watching Dick Van Dyke. You're still watching Carol Burnett. You know what I mean?
Weird later years of I Love Lucy.
Yeah, I mean, they're breaking boundaries.
The Brady Bunch.
Yeah, when they go to Hawaii. Oh my God, there's nothing worse.
There was a tiki god.
I'm going to give this a 6. I enjoyed it. I know the subject matter is probably uncomfortable, but to be honest with you, it shouldn't be uncomfortable as a society. What's uncomfortable in the late 60s should not be uncomfortable in 2020.
We should have got past it and
but
figured
it
out.
is, and that's why it was relatable. I mean, if it was a different circumstances, like 40 down, we were like, oh, that nobody says the N-word, or nobody like calls somebody a Jew or whatever, or minorities aren't repressed and rioting. We should not even be talking about that now.
We should have figured it out by now.
And I could. So a lot of times when we watch these pilots, we cannot relate to then.
Right.
We can.
Yeah.
Carol O'Connor, amazing. Who played Edith?
Jean Stapleton.
She had great timing. She had great deadpan. The daughter and the son-in-law were the worst part of this show, to be honest with you. I'm giving it a 6. I enjoyed it. I had a good time.
Great. I'm glad you enjoyed it. It turned out to be something that is a cultural touchstone.
I wasn't Archie Bunker rated like the number one TV character of all time?
Maybe
over Homer Simpson and over
Ross from Friends. Jonathan Singleton, Silverman, single guy,
and a top 5 show of all shows,
right.
and it was one of the rated top 5 out of 100. That's pretty good.
That is pretty good.
And you know what? They smoked on screen. God damn him! If he had, there was one scene where he had to light it again
while he was talking
with a match.
Yeah,
and when he was talking, it blew it out, and it's seamless. He just lit it again. Oh no, I'm not trying to light this. It's the same one.
That's acting, baby. With your score of a 6, my score of a 4. We close the book on Justice for All, and we will never speak of that show again.
Probably never.
But join us next time, won't you please, when we watch the pilot episode of Condor. Here's a little something to wet your whistle. A hard-boiled special police agent prejudiced towards robots and his beautiful new female android partner hunting his nemesis, an escaped female terrorist known as Black Widow, in the noir future of 1999. You can find the entire episode of Condor by subscribing to Couch Pilots and SoundCloud, Spotify. Hey, you know what? Your hands up. High five it.
No.
Favorite podcast app of choice, and then simply click on one of our classically blue links in our show notes, or go to Amazon Prime and have yourself a good Amazon time. I'm sorry.
I have a question before you push the button.
The answer is yes. Go ahead.
Is this an hour and 15 minutes or
Yes.
an hour and a half?
Yeah. Yes, it is.
When you said Condor, I was like, oh, this is an hour and a half.
You knew it. You knew from Condor.
Just from the Condor.
You are a seasoned professional.
You know what? I'll do this. I'll do this with you. I'll do this for you. And you know what? I'm probably going to have to come to your house and watch it.
You have Amazon Prime. Don't you?
I just wanted to come over to you.
You can come over.
No, you just
Because I know you have Amazon Prime, you can't come over now?
you know what? It's only 2 more hours. And as of recording, 2 more hours, Amazon Prime Day. I'm staying up until midnight to see if I can get a DeWalt drill set for less than $100.
I'll be asleep within the hour. If you want to contact the show, please go to couchpilotspodcast.com. There you can access our Twitter, our Facebook. You can send us an email at couchpilotspodcast@gmail.com. If you like us on Twitter and you follow us there, you can kind of see even a few weeks ahead of time what we're going to do next, because I'm constantly contacting the people involved with the shows that we're discussing. Call us at 910-PILOTS-1. It's 910-745-6871. David Lytle will do it. And you know what? If David Lytle can call us and leave a message, God damn it, so can you.
You should, because he does the least amount of anything ever.
Yeah, he's
right?
he's done the least amount.
You know what I mean, though. He's a laid back guy.
He's a chill dude.
He's a chill dude. So if David Lytle can find the time to be chill enough to dial the phone,
You think you're better than David Lytle? You think you have more on your plate and more to do than David Lytle? Guess again.
I think what we should do right now, we're going to call it out right now.
Mm-hmm.
Season 27, which is coming up in about a month, right?
David Lytle season.
No.
No, what's that? What
It's
are you
a better
gonna say?
one.
Sorry.
We want to have a voicemail off. We want to have all our listeners give us your best voicemail, and we're going to play them throughout the season.
They can be dirty voicemails too.
They could be anything. It doesn't matter. There's no restrictions.
They could be secret recipes.
But at the end on season 27, episode 10, we have to vote for the best voicemail ever.
And that person will get what?
Surprise prizes.
Surprise prize.
We can make a surprise prize box.
We will. Yeah, we'll send that out to the person with
Didi,
the
if
best.
you win, you will get some A&W root beer. Can I say something real quick?
No, we're out of time.
Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and say it anyway, because I basically pushed the button at the end.
Ooh, yeah.
Okay. Don't make me mute you. Me and Didi, once a year, we get on FaceTime and we have a beer together.
Yeah.
You know, halfway across the country, or the world, halfway across the world.
Sure.
And we spent about an hour on FaceTime, Facebook Messenger, whatever we call it, having a beer together and just talking. And I look forward to that every year. It's awesome. But one of the things she was saying, she was talking about, she goes, "Hey, what's wrong with A&W? I can't get any A&W root beer here." And I offered to send her a 12-pack of A&W root, which would have cost probably $100 to send.
Yeah.
But I was going to do that. And she's like, "Nah, mate, don't worry about it." But I saw parrots come and fly by her while she was outside. I saw a volcano in the distance, like a mountain. It was amazing. It was amazing.
She lives where there are tropical birds.
Well, she lives in Australia.
There's parrots there?
Yeah. She said that not too long ago, her next door neighbors had koala bears in their fucking tree. Isn't that fucking nuts? Think about that. That's fucking nuts.
Yeah, I don't want animals with known chlamydia climbing around me.
You know, girls with chlamydia, what's the difference? They've been climbing on you for years.
That's a terrible thing to say. I don't like that at all.
I love everybody that listens. Didi, thank you again. I'll see you on Christmas.
And with that, this pilot may have been rough, but it is always a smooth flight here on Couch Pilots. Thank you, everyone, and we will see you next time.
Love ya, mates.
On behalf of
I'm learning
Couch
Australian.
and the entire crew,
It's coming through. I can
we'd
tell.
like to thank you for joining
You're working
us
really
on
hard
this
at it.
Bloody dingo.
Look forward to seeing you on board
What does
again
what does that
in the
mean?
near future. Have a nice
Huh?
day.
What does that mean? That's Australian?
Yeah, it's like when you take your finger and you flip the head of the penis. It's called a dingo.
Bloody dingo.
Bloody dingo.
Okay.
If you do it too many times, it's just a dingo. But if you hit it too many times,
Break
it's
the skin.
a bloody dingo.
Yeah. Okay.
I love you, buddy.
I love you, dingo.